pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Okay, I need a motion to approve the agenda approval of the agenda as presented.
Make that motion, June 9th, 2014.
Motion made and supported, roll call vote please.
Baldwin.
Yes.
McAdoo.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
Cirelli.
Yes.
Horton.
Yes. We have a presentation from Sam Miller. Hope I pronounced your name right. Okay, Dower. He's legal scout, and he's going to give some information on a flag retirement box. I believe that's it right over there. So why don't you just take a few minutes and tell us what it is, and why we have that, and then we'll go from there.
As part of my Eagle Scout project, it was to make 2 boxes, flag retirement boxes, and then also do a flag retirement ceremony that I did this weekend. And this is just my final box that I have to drop off, and after this, I just have to finish up my paperwork and turn it in, and then hopefully they'll give me my Eagle Scout badge.
This box will be located upstairs. When you come into the office, it'll be there for you to drop your flags on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I need a motion to open the public hearing. Motion been made, open the public hearing, support.
Support.
Motion's been made. Roll call vote, please.
Baldwin.
Yes.
McAdoo.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
Cirelli.
Yes.
Horton.
Yes. The public hearing is basically for the property tax millage rate proposed to be levied to support the 2014-15 budget. That rate is exactly what's been for a number of years, 5.3251. So it's not a raise in taxes, it's just a continuation of the tax rate that we have. So that's basically it. We had to tell you folks what it is and why it is, but it's to support our budget. And it's not like we're adding anything additional to your taxes being paid, which is right on the value of your property, obviously. So that's what it is, 5.3251, and I don't think that rate has changed in a number of years. That's pretty much the same.
205.
Okay, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close the public hearing. Support.
Motion's made and support, roll call vote, please.
Baldwin.
Yes.
McAdoo.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
Cirelli.
Yes.
Horton. Horton.
Yes. Okay, next would be the approval of the minutes. This is the regular meeting on May 12th, 2014.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of May 12th, 2014.
Motion's been made and supported, roll call vote, please.
Baldwin. Yes. McAdoo.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
Cirelli.
Yes.
Horton.
Yes. And then we also had a special council meeting on May 17th. And I need the motion to approve those minutes.
May 27th,
27th, correct? Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the council report.
Okay, motion is made and supported. For May
Baldwin.
27th.
Sorry. Baldwin.
Yes.
McAdoo.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
Cirelli.
I have no wasn't here.
Horton.
Yes. Treasurer's report, May 12th. It's the purple sheet. We have 2 dates. We have June, excuse me, we have June, actually, it's May 12th, 2014, and also we have the treasury report for June 9th, 2014, which is basically today.
I make a motion, we approve the treasurer's report for May 12, 2014.
Motion's been made. Is there support? Okay, got support. Roll call vote, please.
Baldwin.
Yes.
McAfee.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
Cirelli.
Yes.
Horton.
Yes.
Make a motion, we approve the treasurer's report for June 9th, 2014.
Motion been made. And support. Roll call vote, please.
Baldwin.
Yes.
McAfee.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
Cirelli.
Yes.
Horton.
Yes. And we have bills and transfers. I make a motion we support. I make a motion to approve the bills and transfers.
Support.
Motion been made and supported. Roll call vote, please.
Baldwin.
Yes.
McAfee.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
Cirelli.
Yes.
Horton.
This is a moment when anybody in the audience would like to address the board with a comment. We would like to keep it down to 3 minutes. We try to keep it down to 3 minutes. We got a lot of things on the agenda. And if you have a question or you want to address the board, address me, please. Then raise your hand.
I just have a question. First of all, there's no public comment at the end of this meeting. Is that different from what it's been in the past?
Yeah, we talked about that, and basically, what was happening, it was kind of, got crazy, got out of order. It just wasn't working as well as we would like it to be, so we just took it off the agenda.
Okay, then I guess I'm gonna have to speak now.
Yes.
I wanted to wait till the dam, you spoke on the dam. It is public comment now?
Yeah.
Okay. I know we've already spent $60,000 on the dam in the past. And this, the amount of money that's gonna be spent for what's happening now is gonna be probably upwards of 50,000.
32, we figure it's gonna be 32.
Okay, so that would be in addition to what
Over the
we've
years.
already spent?
Over the years, yeah.
Okay. And one other question. When the dam is in that condition, has Reed Elementary School ever been notified?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
When they have 3 gates, when I open 2 gates, they're not allowed on the ball field.
okay.
I work directly with the bus director, he calls the school has worked with me for the last 5 years.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Good questions, Mr. Mortel. Good questions, appreciate that. Yes.
Diane Frederick, 7476 Terra Court. I have a concern, I'm sure a number of tax-paying residents do, with regard to raises. Again, it seems that we keep giving raises to employees. Our village does not have an income other than our property taxes. And there's nothing here that justifies that they got $2 an hour last hour, got other raises the year before, and another one now. I understand that you say that our tax rate is gonna stay the same, but this could be a cost savings for the village. And based on calling Saugatuck, the mayor up there said that to compare our area with them is totally wrong. We should be sticking in Genesee County. Saugatuck has festivals, has beaches, has 150,000 people a day on the weekends going there, and it justifies those paying those kind of salaries to those employees. To do that here is wrong. And I would like you to think of me as Jiminy Cricket. I'm like your conscience. When you ran for office to be part of the village council, you're supposed to be representing the village residents, not the village employees. And we'd like you to really seriously say no to raises, more paid holidays, and insurance where they don't pay for anything. It's unheard of. I've been in staffing for over 20 years. Everybody pays. All the residents in this village pay. Nobody gets a free pass. Even school teachers in this state now pay 20%. And for these village employees to pay nothing for their principal, don't pay deductibles, don't pay for any of it, is wrong. So please remember this. If you're up to be reelected this year and in the future years, that the village taxpayers are watching, and we'd like you to remember that. Remember that you represent us, and do not give raises to these employees again. Thank you.
Mrs. Allen, if you didn't come up here, I'd call you up anyway, you know. You're
I
like,
know.
part of the situation.
See, he encourages it. I'm really, really disappointed in council. I understand, I truly do. You can't stand me. And I can't say that the feeling isn't mutual. But I am a taxpayer, I am a resident here. I have been at the heart of this drain issue. I have been fighting for nearly 3 years. And for no one to come to my door and deliver the green infrastructure packet, to me, is, I don't even have words that I could say here today. It is rude and uncalled for, and I am disgusted and disappointed with you. I watched as Mr. Baldwin went to my next door neighbor, went to the house on the corner of Ridge and Huron, and then the three of us watched as he approached the gentleman behind us on Seneca with the pool. You went to all of my surrounding neighbors. My garage door was open, my windows were open, and my car was out there with the sprinkler running. You knew I was home, and you didn't bring me a copy. And I'd like to know why. You don't have to like me, I've said it 100 times. You do not have to like me to do your job. No answer?
No answer.
All right, because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you. Any one of you could have brought it to me. Did Mr. Baldwin ask anybody else to bring it to me
Yes,
on
me.
council?
Yes, me.
But you're a
I called
resident.
But I called
You did call me. You did. Well, actually, I called you. You called me back. I know you gave it to Bill Welch to give to me. But a member of council should have brought it to me. He does not work for this village. He does not represent this village. And you should be ashamed of yourself.
It is shameful.
You could have mailed it.
Exactly. Thank you. You could have mailed it.
You could have your office there.
And I think everyone here needs to know that you're picking and choosing.
Yes, you are.
You're picking and choosing who you want to represent. And that's not why you were elected. You were elected to represent everybody.
It's a select few.
Anyone else?
Okay, Ms. Redding, Fairview Hills. A good time to talk about the lack of the public comments at the end. I was a supporter of this to begin with. Very good reason. There's the purpose of it. There's a lot of things to discuss during the meeting that we'd like to say something about. We've got to wait a whole month and nobody cares anymore where everybody got the things. The reason things out of order, Mr. President, because you didn't control it. I was sitting here all the time. You didn't see me part of this. Is the fact that a lot of things were brought up that were controversial and things got out of control, but you're the guys responsible for controlling it. Don't just take it off because of those things happening. It's there for a purpose. And a lot of times, I would like to have said things months and years ago at the end of a meeting, but there's nothing down here to authorize me to say it. By the time it comes around next month, nobody cares.
Anyone else?
Jacob Beckwood on Green Road. I was going over the packet that I didn't receive, but was handed to me. A couple questions that I have. Do we know what the start-up cost for the infrastructure would be?
Startup cost for what now?
To get the project going, the green infrastructure, the packet that you put out, do we know what the startup cost would be?
Now, Well, the study is ongoing, so as far as the real cost to start out with, we really don't know what that is yet.
Okay. So then we also would know what the annual fees, yearly cost would be for the maintaining of this.
No, not yet. You know, it's a project that some communities have, most communities really don't have. It's nothing I would say is real new, but it seemed to be a working situation. And it's helped getting rid of the water. That's the reason we have it. Different communities do different things. But a cost factor as to what it would cost to start it and maintain it, that's something that we would have to figure out as we actually progress with the systems.
Do we have the acreage or the property around here for the drainage? Because some of the stuff in the pamphlet I was going through, some are about 23 acres in size for the drainage purposes, and I don't know that we have any empty lots behind these residents for the drainage problem to actually have to put the structure in place.
Yeah.
Has that been discussed or decided?
That's something in progress, because some people would have enough room to even put it in their backyard, other people would not. Where you're gonna put it, there's gotta be someplace there that's going to be readily available.
Right.
I have permission to speak,
Sure, I do.
if I can address your questions. It is ongoing, the research is going on. There's research going on as we speak to determine how much of the retention areas, the bioswales are needed, what size the pipe has to be. This is going to be a combination of the GI system and pipe. But what we're trying to do is when the water leaves the golf course, we want a pipe that's small enough so that, number one, it reduces the cost of the pipe, and you don't have to go the entire distance of the Wheelock Watkins drain at this point, only to the bottom of the hill behind the pump shop, which would cut the cost considerably. And these are all things that are all preliminary, and they've hidden numbers, and you're dealing with hydrologists and engineers.
Right. And I guess, and I appreciate the answer, and I think my only other concern that I have in here is that, I mean, a good selling point in here is to tell the residents that it's an 80% less cost than what would it be for if Jeff Wright comes in and does the drains and stuff like that. But since we don't actually have the actual numbers on what the cost would be, I kind of think that's, you know, a wrong selling point or something to add into a report to try to get somebody behind something when we don't actually know what the factual numbers are.
We have some preliminary numbers, and I know they've been kicked around, and they probably shouldn't have been, but it's considerably less than $778,000 that was the initial proposal, considerably less than that.
Thank you.
Yeah, one other thing. We would want to share that information of any report that came out, primary, startup, and all that. But I think the procedure, if I understand it correctly, is when we get that information, it goes to Jeff Wright. He's waiting for that report. He may release that report at his leisure anytime he wanted to, once he gets it and compares it to what his engineering people have done. So our obligation at this point, although we're obligated to you, we have marching orders from the Drain Commission to give it to him when we get that information.
And I don't mean to interrupt, but we'd have to have his approval before we go forward with that.
It's either or. Or any, another alternative. He comes up with another alternative. This is just one of the things that were proposed, right? So we think this is the best way to go. He may not agree with it. People have been very successful, as you know, in Ingham County and other places, using this. As we keep on saying, you can call the Drain Commissioner in Ingham County, he'll tell you his was $22 million to get his. Understand, it's 550 homes were involved. 22 million. He got it done at 6.5 million. So you can do the math, what the savings were. And everyone's different, I agree, everyone's different, so it's a matter of what they come up with.
Might add, if you get on the computer, you can find Milwaukee. They have 750 acres of these biological gardens in the city alone. And some of the things they do over there is, in the last 3 years, they sold 18,000 rain barrels. So they say that's only 50,000 or 50 gallons, but that's a lot of water. They now recycle their drainage water. They put it in a big hole in the ground that they built that holds 780 million gallons, and they pump this and remake their drinking water from it.
But what would be the time frame? Because talking with Jeff, he's still looking at about 1.5 years to go forward with if he has to do the drain. What is the time frame to get the infrastructure in place to where it's gonna solve our issue?
It should be able to go on about the same time frame. It's not like you've got to order pipe. They pick the spot and they go in there and build it to hold the water. What we're trying to do is slow the water down. The 750 acres in Milwaukee takes 780 million gallons of water a year. And their maintenance is much cheaper, they feel, than it is on pipe. Some people run a car off the road, go through there, and they have to redo some of it, tear it up, or this or that and the other. But on the golf course, I can't see anybody running through it with a car like they would out on the road. So actually, Mark and Richard were in Lansing, and they had it on one side of the road. The ditch was full of water. The ditch was deeper on the other side, and there was no water. And that's the day they got 2 inches of rain. So it's kind of unbelievable how it works. When I get into the dam, I'll lay you on some of the things there, but Michigan has 60% of fresh water, in the world. Right here, we have it, but we have to learn how to conserve it. Cannot be. And this filter, it does a lot of good things to the water, plus slowing it down, puts it back in the ground where it's supposed to be. You put all that blacktop out there and all these roads and these ditches, you just get rid of it in a hurry, and that's why we've got problems up there. And I'll enlighten you on that when I get to my point. But I think it'll work. Takes time to put it together, you know.
If you'd like to call any one of us, I could go into depth and detail if you're going to call.
These two guys can,
Or search it online.
I would love to, but I'm not making a shot, and I'm not up here speaking, but to try to call in and actually get a hold of somebody up here, again, we express that it's very difficult to do. But
Yes, ma'am, after the meeting.
Don Emsch, 10216 Mill Point Drive. I've sold my home recently, and I'm going to take close to a $250,000 hit to move out of Goodrich. It's no big deal. Anybody else moving out is going to take a hit too. The market's down right now. Hopefully it'll come back. I see some hope for the village if we can all continue to work together. We're faced with some fairly huge challenges, I would say, even in the whole history of the village. These are big problems. The dam is a big problem. The drainage issue is a big problem. You don't solve these kind of problems with reactionary moves. You solve these kind of problems by studying the problem, giving council time to work on it, which I'm impressed. They have done some research on it. Mark's put himself out. Rich has put himself out on the dam. We don't always know all the things that go on behind the scenes, the hours that are put in sometimes to do the research. And anything we do, we can't always predict the result. But by golly, when you have Ingham County up north and you have Milwaukee, you have people that have done this before. This is not the first moonshot. This has been done before, very successfully. So there's a model. Somebody else has already done it. We have a path that we can follow. We can look at the data. We can study the data. We have experts to help us on this. It's really heartening to see that the village is coming into the 21st century and we can be a leader in this area. The village can be a leader in this area with this green infrastructure. And as the whole world is learning, the resources we have are not to be wasted. We went through something similar after the Second World War. When the war was over and people were so used to rationing and saving things, and that generation that lived through the Depression, they didn't waste a damn thing. But now I see the people, the kids that come up, and my own grandkids, and it's use it once and throw it away. Well, Grandpa doesn't do that. Now, why doesn't Grandpa do that? Because he knows better, you know? We don't waste anymore. Nothing we have on this earth is waste. Nothing. It can be transformed into something that's usable. Even the manure from the farms, we've known that for years. We use it to fertilize our lawns and whatever, you know? So I guess my point is, we need to slow down enough and remain calm and use the brains that the good Lord gave us, which we are, it sounds like, and make some good choices as a group. And I really think we can find our way out of this. And Pete's gonna end up, looks like, being able to do something with the dam when everybody thought, oh, you gotta tear it out, gotta do this, gotta do that. No, that's nonsense. We didn't even have the facts at the time, and everybody, it's like a lynching, you know, you wait until you get all the facts and then start making some decisions, and then hold the council accountable if they do something dishonest or wrong, blatantly, obviously wrong based on the facts, but don't hold them accountable if everybody else is agreeing to it and we all go forward. You know, then it's not right to blame one person if it was a group decision. So, anyway, that's my 2 cents, and I wish you all well.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
You know, my biggest concern, the reason why I even started coming to these meetings at all, was to work on the park. And the part that has me the most frustrated is the Parks and Rec is the center, it's the hub of what's gonna make the community and the community members happy. It's the thing that we're lacking the most out of our entire community, and it has the most potential to fix our other problems, to work on our solution. Our dam is in the park. It's in the park. That's where we have the opportunity for grants. That's where we have the opportunity to get people involved. That's where we have the opportunity to make a change, to bring in more people into our community. If you have a nice park where families want to come and spend their weekends and their evenings, now you've got an attraction. And then you can bring in people to go to the businesses, the restaurants, and we can build back up our community. That's where we can help generate more revenue to be able to repair our roads, to work on things like our dam. That's all I came here to try to do, and it was like pulling teeth trying to deal with the office. I mean, the reputation of the village offices throughout the county, throughout the state, not to mention every single local municipality around us, it's atrocious. No other municipality can even comprehend the way ours is running. It's basically like we're all paying taxes just to hand our money off to our employees. We should be holding on to our money tight, and we should not be giving raises, we shouldn't be giving insurance, premiums handed out. There's things we should not be doing for a small community like we have, and we just keep doing it. That's where the suspicion comes in, that's where the mistrust comes in. It's a shame, it's just a shame that you guys want to keep pursuing it this way. There's solutions to the problem, and there's people like me reaching out trying to help, being dismissed and being treated completely rudely. When I have good intentions from day one. From day one, that's all I want to do.
Anyone else? Second time, you know.
But it's a different topic. Aren't you allowed other topics to discuss? Well, last one for the night. Just concerned, Jackie Sidge is not here, and we've heard that she's retired. Is this truthful?
In the hospital.
Oh,
She's had a
She
hip
had
replacement.
hip replacement.
Okay.
She won't be back until 1st of August. She'll be
Okay.
working from home.
Okay, because we had heard that she had retired because of the disability. All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. Unfinished business. We have in front of us the Genesee County report. I guess you guys usually just happened the last couple of days, so there's no information. For a small town, there's a lot of stuff going on around here. It's unbelievable. You know?
After dark,
Yeah.
17 mailboxes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Had a
Watch your neighbors too, huh?
big- Yeah, big sign. Sounds like, well,
nitro in my mailbox. I hit it once, the last thing they ever
it'll be the last time for them guys. Oh, well, you know kids are doing it, or did it. If they ever catch you messing around with mailboxes, they have no idea, but that is a federal offense. You're messing around with Uncle Sam's property. And that's a big deal. If they catch you, the judge just love to talk to those 2 guys, 3 guys, 10 guys, whatever it was. Okay, Genesee County Sheriff's Report, we've seen that. Street Administrator,
Do you want me to cover the dam? We can take care of that.
Sure.
All at one time.
yep,
Okay, they've been in working on the dam. We know the water looks pretty ugly. Had a complaint today, it's starting to strengthen. We're waiting on 2 bags of underwater cement. It's been ordered for 10 days. Supposed to be in tomorrow. They won't be here tomorrow. They're working on the 2 gates. We end up having to put 2 gates in because we took the second one out and then we ain't found it yet. We've been all the way to the back of the cemetery, so when the water came up there quite quickly, and it's gone. The dam itself, on the east side, where the sinkhole was the sinkhole. What happened, when the dam was built, we all know the face, the wall came in, probably for years, water down below where you couldn't see it, and going through that crack, and it worked its way back through the wall. It's all been patched. He says, I don't need to dig that side, because I know what it is. And what they did, they put a piece of steel on that, and they poured grout in it. Fill that crack up, this grout will allow it to move without going away. So that side's taken care of. The other side, and Waitrim got a letter from one of our residents saying, why weren't we drilling holes? Well, we had talked about drilling holes to check the ground. This company says, why drill holes and do all that? Just dig it up. And that's what they did. And I didn't know it, but where that wall goes east and west, everyone's out there quite a ways, so they had to dig 2 holes. They were both, first one was dead dry. Went down 18, 20 inches below it, it's dead dry. The second one had a little bit of water. We're fixed in that one on the inside. That's what that grout is for that we're getting. Once that's in there, you see if you stop and look, you start to form it up. You can't form it up if it gets that in. That corner will be poured. Once it's poured, we're ready for gates. We'll bring it up slowly. And as we all know, we need a coffer dam. And I came up with an idea, and then Mark and I have been doing a little driving around. Our biggest problem is coming from Ortonville now. When that dam was built, it didn't push the water as pushed it today. You drive down M15 with all your parking lots, they all got a drain to the creek. And a good example is right there at the park on Oakwood Road. There's 2 big drains there, no red wrap in it, tearing the dirt up, putting sediment in the creek. That sediment ends up in our mill pond. Anybody that mows their yard to the creek, go down there and look. You see the banks eroding. Takes the dirt away, the sod falls in. It gets bigger, bigger, and bigger with these events. And those are things I want to work on. There's 52 square miles of water coming this way. And I believe they should pay just as much for that coffer dam as you and I do, because we're regulating their water. They're sending our water there. We can't stop it, but they're putting their water in there faster at Great Lake. I would dare say if we walk from Oak Road down to the Bullfrog and walk that creek, you're gonna probably find 300 tile in there that they put in there. Gray tile. Gray tile puts water in the system much faster. When it puts it in there much faster, it gets here much faster. We kind of figured 3 years ago when fun days we couldn't do it because it rained Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We figured in 6 days we put anywhere from 12 to 15 billion gallons of water through that dam. That's with 3 gates up. With 3 gates up, it's like opening your window. It's only half open. Because when I raise that gate up, I close the top. And that's a lot of water. But with them 3 up, just through those gates there, we put 12 billion gallons through. That don't count one over the overflow or almost over the fish left. And there's no way to measure over those overflows unless you got something in there. And it's not worth putting in there. So my idea is, I'm going to try to set a meeting up in October or November with all the drain commissioners, one from Genesee County, one from Oakland County, the supervisors from two, down in Ortonville, there's two of them, plus the village of Ortonville, Davison supervisors, Atlas Township supervisors, anywhere Kersley Creek goes, they're a part of that dam. They're on that dam, Kersley, it's the Flint River watershed on Kersley Creek. And I'm gonna tell you, if you ever take that out of there and turn it loose, I can guarantee you'll put 4 golf courses out of business. Because half of their fairways are in the watershed, it's gonna take them away. I'm not so sure the tube and Atlas would stay there on the vent, so we had 6.5 inches. Because if you go out there and look at that creek now, it's moving twice as fast as it is when it's full. There's rapids out there in that creek, it's moving fast. You're slowing it down. We can get the coffer dam in there, Staple pay to take the dam out and put the rocks down there, then you start working on your park. It's nice to wanna do the park, but you gotta put the horse before the cart. And don't put him behind it, cause you might get that in there and say, now we gotta tear it out, so we gotta do something else. And I applaud you for trying to help us, but you've got to get that problem fixed there first. And I'm going to work hard to get these people together. I have talked to the drain commissioner in Oakland County when we was at the seminar over there, and he's supposed to get back with me, so I'd rather wait till fall, I'm really busy now. But a lot of their drainage problem from down there needs riprap, bad. And just go to Oak Road, that little bridge, and look at those 2 tile come in there. Look at that guy's yard, he's got a pond 50 feet from, or 40 feet from it, it's gonna be in the creek one of these days. But the nice part was, there's about 70 trout in one spot there. Even down there now, that creek is probably a third smaller with that pond gone right now. And that's trout stream, and those guys might wanna help you, because when you get their stream where you're taking it away and they can't support the trout, and those people have money to help. But I really think at 52 square miles, you go the other way, and I may be off, but I think $100 a household would put that coffer dam in and fix our problem, because I think they're part of it. And we cannot look to Lansing, or our little uncle, because he ain't got any money, and big uncle in Washington that's spending $1 billion a day over wherever, they don't have any money. The only way our infrastructure is gonna be fixed is we're all gonna have to chip in a little bit. It's the only way you're gonna save it, and it needs to be saved. And that, while we're doing that, we can fix some of our drainage problem. But I'll tell you, it's pretty nasty out there right now. Don't try to walk across it, because if you do, you're gonna have to call Fred to come get you. There's about 3 to 5 feet of, what do you wanna call it, muck? But what it is from these banks over the years where they mowed down to the creek, they wash away, and when the water's fast, it settles where it's slow, and it'll come all the way down.
Pete, can I ask you a question? Last Friday, the workers were telling anybody that passed by, because I know I got 2 calls, that they found a new hole in the middle. That the employees that were working for it found a new hole in the middle, down below the gates.
They didn't find a hole. It's just got a funny sound, but it's not a hole. We patched the holes in the front of it. It just sounds hollow, but just that one spot all the way around it, it sounded good. And that could be from where they patched it before. I will talk to him when he got back. He never mentioned anything to me about finding a hole. We patched the front of the holes that he didn't see that I asked him to patch. He fixed 2 structures in the front, and I asked the gentleman that works on it, and he works on a lot of them, what kind of shape it was in, if it was safe to put water in. He said it was. He said, I've been over it. He said, we dug the outside of it, still structurally sound on the outside. And the sinkholes on the north side are from the artesian well. We're thinking about driving a pipe in there that will let the water out and throw some riprap there and let it go to the creek. And we've had a lot of rain the last few years, If you ever walk the bike path up there by Tom Gordon's and there in Brigham's, quite often it's wet. There's an artesian well there, and it usually runs more in the wintertime than it does in the summertime.
Okay, Peter, give us a lot of info,
Okay.
a lot of stuff there. That is, in fact, there is two lakes, south of Ortonville that are feeding the creek. You got Huff Lake, and you got the Lake Louise.
Yep, that's where it comes from.
They're all coming this way. I was in Ortonville a couple of weeks ago, and the creek there, you would have had a canoe, you could have got going 100 miles an hour, but the creek was not that wide, right there by the old mill. But it was really moving, and that was 2 weeks ago. So the water's coming this way, Pete knows that, everybody knows that. Parks and Rec, hang on, you got it takes time.
Can I just say?
Right, that was actually 911 was next.
Oh, 911?
Yeah.
Let me see. Oh, it is. Do you have anything on that? I don't think you do, do you?
No.
Waste and water, we talked about that. Parks and Rec, don't give up, it takes time to do what you'd like to do. Code enforcement, I talked to Dave Lucic, he was on a couple different calls and solved the problem with the fence. The guy didn't like his neighbors, so he built a fence that was about 4 foot too high for what the code was. Dave talked to him, and the guy says, yeah, maybe my neighbor's not that bad, so we tore his fence back down. So I don't know what that's all about. Can you believe it? Village property. Dave couldn't believe it either. Village property,
We can go to administrative or not?
pardon me?
We should skip over administrative.
Well, I don't know what else, what's going on with administrative. You got anything at all? Maybe Jackie is,
I've got an
Yes,
issue.
Chuck.
It's administrative. Over the last, since the last meeting, I had a half a dozen phone calls and also visiting some of the businesses, gas stations, some of the restaurants. I was stopped by some of the residents asking me what I knew about alleged corruption going on in the village. I didn't know anything about it, and I told them, I said, I don't know anything about any corruption. And one of the residents brought me a transcript of interviews that were being done previously. Corruption is a serious charge to be taken very seriously, and it's also something that should be given very seriously. It should not just been thrown out for the sake of throwing something out to say something. I read the transcript, and it basically states major corruption going on in our offices. It was from one of the residents here that did an interview. I believe it was on TV, so it's out in the public now, in the public arena. The only thing I can recommend and really urge is if there's any information that proves there's evidence of corruption, take it to the prosecutor. Take it to the prosecutor instead of going on, and the reporter didn't follow up. You know, any person that is in any kind of newsworthiness will ask the question and then follow up and say, well, what makes you believe that there's corruption? They wanted the issue rather than they want any comments, all right? So, again, I reiterate, the individual who had the interview, take the evidence, either give it to the state police, give it to the prosecutor, if they see fit, give it to the council, and let us know who is being accused of corruption, because two things happen here. Number one, the people that are being accused of corruption hurts their reputation when there is no value to doing something like that. And secondly, the person that is saying the corruption exists with no proof or no evidence ruins their credibility on other issues, on almost everything else. So that's all I have on the issue. I will get back to the people that I talk to or talk to me and tell them that we've addressed it. And if nothing happens, then I assume it's just verbiage that was done in the heat of the moment and there's no validity to it.
No, different
Okay. They haven't covered, yeah, anything on sidewalks, I don't think there's anything there that I know of that needs to be addressed. The village property, I'm not sure exactly what Jackie was referring to, the village property.
It must
That's
be
the
a
house on
property.
M15.
No,
No,
that's it.
Terra Court.
no, that's the second, next one, that's a property in Fairview that, he's re-putting the paperwork together after the gentleman who owned the lots signed off on them finally. He had to sign off on them. It's been a hassle getting the paperwork done.
Okay. State road property, filing a motion for cause. This is the house, I'm assuming that's on the 15 here. There was a judge involved initially. The owner had to do a number of things that haven't completed by May 30th. One, he had to have a new roof. There was some guy up there putting another tarp on it, which is ridiculous. That's the fifth one probably. He had to have the new windows put in, doors. He had to have the outside painted or redone. There's 4 or 5 things he had to do, and to my knowledge, none of them were completed by the 30th. So it says file the motion. June 16th. These ones.
Supposed to be June 17th, you go
yeah.
back court.
The attorney that worked on this for us, he has contacted the court, and they're, hopefully June 16th, 17th, it'll be back in the court. And then it'll let the judge make a decision on what to do, and that's going to be to our benefit, hopefully. The gentleman owns it, could care less. He probably bought it to make some kind of an investment, they never did anything with it. So that's where we are in that house. It's been a problem for a couple of years. The guy didn't want to do anything about it, and we could only do so much. So that's where we are. Hopefully that house is going to be gone here in the very near future. Do we like drain? That's an ongoing system.
Actually, the house down by Hampton's, the second one that flooded, the county come in there and they finally figured out the problem. When they redid the drain, I thought it was later on, somebody said it was 51, I can't remember that young. When they put the 24 into the catch basin by the road, where the 12 originally ran, they let that 12 extend about 12 feet. And I'm assuming because the homeowner's drain was in it, they figured it would run backwards into the catch basin. Because 14 feet down, they plugged it with cement. So if you can imagine the rain events we had with all that water going into a 12, it's got no place to go but up to a basement. That was hooked up by the county back in the 50s. That's how they did it. And now they went in there and they run it into the catch basin, but they plugged it. And she plugged the drain on it. The water was coming from the county drain, but it was the way it was done in the 50s. And whoever did it then is probably not here, so. But that's the way they did it, and it took that long for them to figure out how they did it. And when they dug it up, they had it deadheaded about 15 feet in with the drain there, so you got a 12-inch tube run into a 4-inch drain. And way too much water because there's just too much head pressure and it's gonna go up the drain.
Oh, yeah.
And why it was done that way, to me, if it had been done, they should have deadheaded it in the catch basin and let it run across the street, and hopefully it wouldn't have backed up, but they didn't do it that way. And that still would have, might have been a chance that it was gonna flood under those conditions. Not like it would, not the way they put it, they just put a river in their basement, that's what they did.
Is it gonna be fixed, or?
It's already fixed, it's done, and if you go by there, you see the white cap they put in it for a clean out. I don't know what they're gonna clean out, but, I wasn't really impressed with the gentleman that wasn't the workers. It was the engineer that was on the job, I wasn't really impressed with him, but it should not flood from that now. And now that they have their laundry tub pumped in the sanitary, it won't be coming up there, and they have the floor drain plugged off, so they can sweep the water, whatever they get into their sub crock and that'll pump it out. So hopefully that issue there has been put to bed.
That's good news.
But nobody on the village ever worked on it. Matter of fact, when we did it, we were a village, but not a incorporated village.
I'd just like to add too, that on the Wheelock Watkins drain, there is going to be a meeting scheduled with Tammy and her crew. Probably just be a couple of people from council, going to do a little walking in the area. And we're kind of talking about going down in front of Mr. Welch's house, Miss Beebe's house, south side of Erie Street, maybe doing a prototype.
We should.
GI thing on one side, kind of start from about Keens and work it down there just past Clarence Road. And then if we could, we would also like to go due south from your house, all of which would take some water off of the Wheelock Watkins drain. Kind of go around it instead of bringing down into that basin down in there. I don't know when the meeting will be, it's whenever. She just brought a new engineer on who is being transferred from Ann Arbor to Lapeer, and I talked to him, it was last Wednesday, sometime soon.
That's a good spot right there.
Well, it'd be a good place to start, and it would look good in front of the school, and everybody could kind of maybe see what it looks like to start with.
That's the right spot to start it.
Anything else, Mark?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the next on the agenda is ordinance amendment for construction code, then postpone that. And then we're gonna go to new business. We have some resolutions to work out. First resolution is 214-9. This is the dates of the council meetings for 2014 to 2015. We all have a copy of that. And pretty much, it's always been about the second Monday of each month, and we've got it all the way through until June 8th of 2015. So I need a motion.
Motion to accept the resolution 2014-09 as presented.
Support. Roll call vote, please.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
Surley.
Yes.
Horton.
Yes. 2010 or 2014-10 general operating millage rate. This is a resolution that talks about the millage rate, which is the 5.3251, which has been the same rate for a number of years, so not increasing anybody's taxes. It's just that we have to bring it up for basically renewal. So I would make a motion that we accept resolution 2014-10.
Support.
Roll call vote, please.
Baldwin.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
Surley.
Yes.
Horton.
Yes. 2014-11 administrative officers compensation. This has to do with cost of living. That's what it amounts to. Most everyone that is an employee or some companies do have a built-in cost of living allowance. We're not talking about a whole lot of people here. We got a couple people that work in a DPW, a couple people work in the office. This is not a 30-employee business we're running here. And all these people that are on the payroll have done a great job. Especially the DPW guys this winter, we had all the snow. They're out there in the dark, early mornings, going up the dark street. Mr. Ortell will tell you about that, because you can see those guys going by with a road grader sometimes, most times they're big old truck. So, those guys earn their money, no doubt about that. So that's what that's all about. It's not a great big increase in wages.
Comment.
Oh, my God.
Ricky, are you ready?
Pardon me?
May I make a comment? Are you ready?
If it's full.
We can. It's just what it is, folks.
Oh, yeah.
$60,000.
You got good people, it requires money.
I'd like to make a comment. I think we've maxed out their tops. In any business, you can reach the top of the range. You know, I don't buy it at all. You know, it's just always a raise increase, raise. I don't think very many people here have ever had a cost of living. If they did, it was in the past. I think, you know, to me, it's more of sending a message that we're gonna find a new way to get an increase. You know, you can say all the good things you want, they're good people, it comes down to money. And, you know, we haven't been putting money away for the dam, or we should have started a fund. That fund should be up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. We've known about the dam, but the only planning we see is for more wage increases. And I believe this is 1.5. I see all the people aren't here. I don't know if that means that there's more coming later. I don't see Matt, and I don't see you, Pat. I don't see your name on here. I don't
This is
know
the
what.
administrative officer.
Officers, it says.
Okay. Because I know Ethan is named, Maureen is named, Jackie is named. But regardless, I think it just sends the wrong message. The survey that was done, you know, it's like, I believe, it was brought up, Saugatuck. The west side's doing well, the south along the Ohio border is doing well. All these should have been, all the examples should have been Genesee County, 15 miles, 20 miles. Article in the Flint Journal just yesterday was talking about the disparity in how Genesee County, and how the Flint area is depressed in wages. I mean, we're behind everybody. And I just, I don't see, it's just a constant wage. And, you know, there, like I say, there comes a time when you reach the max, that's it. These places that were cited, if you look through the pack, there's different, one's cited for different people. You didn't stick with one town and go all the way across, because some of these people wear more than one hat, like the gentleman from Saugatuck. Some of them have industry, they're doing well. Some of these places were up by Traverse City, some were on the west side. I think I saw one from the Upper Peninsula. We're a bedroom community. We don't have 100,000 people in here every day. We don't have a lot of industry that we can count on. We live and die by the tax rate. It's been consistent. But I think for this year, just withdraw it.
I'll comment, sir. The two elephants in the room are the drain and the dam. And that's, a lot of things have to be sacrificed along the line for that, including the park, including some other benefits that may or may not be deserved and what have you. I know everybody's here busting their hump to try to save money. So we don't spend $1 million on this drain, and we don't spend $1.5 million or whatever for the dam, which we've been quoted a couple of alternatives to. And we're looking to get a better value from the coffer dam. We're looking to get a better view, a better value from green infrastructure. Under normal circumstances, do they deserve it? Perhaps. But as strange as it sounds, I agree with Mr.
Yay!
That is pretty strange, too.
Thank you. Let's do applause on it too.
Well, I had written down on the resolution, to postpone the action, you know, I know what the rate is, and what doesn't tell us is what the difference is in money. I mean, a rate increase of 1.5 might be 50 cents, I don't know.
It comes out to $700 a year for 3 people, $2,100.
Okay.
That's a lot of money.
Well, at this point in time, I think Mr. McAbey, I don't know how he did it, but he come up with some good information there.
Whoa, McAfee's on a roll.
The guy, I tell you what, he surprises me sometimes. So at this point, I'm not gonna make a motion for that resolution, and we'll just, have the office work on it, see if there's other things that can be done without spending the money and make the employee happy. That's half the battle. So that, I'm gonna make a motion. See, that, address, resolution 2014-11.
I don't think we need a motion for that. We just-
Okay, well, this,
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Good job, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
okay, resolution 2014-13 has to do with the tax rate. We went over that earlier. We're gonna establish, the village council will establish a tax millage rate for the year of 2014-15 of 5.3251. And it goes on and on and on, but it's basically to maintain our current budget. And the budget does change as the year goes on, and we address that, but that's basically is to keep things on an even keel, and that's core. Do you have anybody here have a comment on the board?
Tax rate? Skip this one, physical? Resolution 2014-13.
Did I miss it? Oh, well, there it is.
You just did 4.
Yeah, he skipped
We're on
one.
11,
Yeah.
we already did 10.
Yeah, we skipped,
We skipped 12.
11.
We skipped 12.
Yeah, skip 12.
Yeah,
Correct.
call for
Council
clerk.
clerk.
Well, let's do 13, we'll go back to 12. So I would need a motion to accept resolution 2014-13.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. Roll call vote, please.
Baldwin.
Yes.
McAbey.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
Thoroughly.
Yes.
Ordinance.
Yes. Now we'll go back down to resolution 2014-12. And I'll just kind of read it. This is something that's in place now. It says the Village of Goodrich Council desires to elect the village council clerk to write the minutes. Whereas Patricia Sheriff desires to be elected to the village clerk as a duty of the village deputy clerk. Therefore resolved that the Village of Goodrich Council elects Patricia J. Sheriff as the village council clerk for a term beginning July 1, 2014, expiring June 30, 2000. Yeah, 5 is missing. So I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2014-12.
Support.
Motion is made and support. Roll call vote, please.
Baldwin.
Yes.
McAbey.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
Thoroughly.
Yes.
Ordinance.
Yes. There's one other thing.
County property.
Yep, the county has property that, in our area, our village, that, has been foreclosed on. There's property, on Eagle Road, which is the property that Mr. Gordon owns, that's vacant. There's also property on Rose Road, I can't pronounce the name, that's vacant. She cut tax, pardon me,
Shakira.
Shakira? Something like that. Live on Rose Road, there's property there anyway. And taxes due, are not been paid. Interest due has not been paid, total due has not been paid. So, there's also, Bill Pond Point has a piece of vacant property. So there's 3 pieces of property involved. If I'm trying to read the information from the Genesee County office, Treasurer's office,
It's property that if we buy, we can't sell, we own it forever, so.
Yeah, that's where it's gonna go.
And we don't want that because we might get it cheaper
Later.
like you did in Fairview.
Yeah, at a later date.
It's just, don't do anything with it, because don't buy something you can't sell, because
Exactly.
you gotta maintain it.
Yeah, bring it up. Costs money.
Somebody out there will get a good deal on it, maybe do something with it, and it'll be taxed out.
No, wasn't the resignation Dan told you?
Yes.
Oh, Dan.
Yes, Dan Goodrich.
You do have to make a motion to accept it as.
Okay, Dan Colvin wanted to resign from the planning commission. We used to see Dan here at a lot of the meetings.
Yep.
So we need a motion to accept his resignation.
I make a motion to accept Dan's resignation. Dan is moving to Grand Blanc.
Support.
Motion made, supported, roll call vote, please. Read it again.
Baldwin? Yes. Knightly?
Yes.
Maureen?
Yes.
Sironi?
Yes.
Gordon?
Close. Before we close, I'd like to just say, I'd like to see us go back to the public comments and council comments at the end. I kind of,
Kind of like that.
I'd like to say something, I know.
Well, we can still say something.
Go ahead.
The big problem was that it got out of hand. We got conversations going on and the amount of volume of noise in here was crazy
But you're
and.
denying those that are abiding by the rules of the Open Meetings Act that are privileged to speak at the end of the meeting.
Well, do you want to
Exactly.
reintroduce the sergeant at arms? There's your options.
I'll just twist him over here a little bit more.
Well, I think it's up to us to help with,
Agreed.
it's just not one person. It's, you know, it's up to all of us to support,
Maintain order.
maintain order. Good way to do it.
I would like to see those two brought back. I think it's good.
Okay, what do you guys think?
I like to see it come back.
Well, we
The agenda for the next meeting.
For the agenda,
we
yeah.
can talk about it. Other than that, I don't.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion been made, adjourn. Support. You don't get a roll call vote, we don't agree.
Undebatable. Undebatable. Motion for undebatable, somebody. Oh, wait.
Thank you very much.
Tell my wife.
Right thing to do.
It is